A short story written and read by Javon Joseph. The Well That Kept Secrets. Stephen was born screaming, as if he already understood the world was not a safe place. His mother Miriam wept when she heard him cry, not from fear, but relief. 6 times before him, her body had betrayed her. 6 silent graves that no one spoke of. So when Stephen arrived, small and sickly, but alive, she decided he was not just a child. He was returned, a gift God had reconsidered. From the beginning, Miriam built her life around preventing loss. Curtains were always drawn to keep the sun from making him ill. Doors were locked even in the daytime. Stephen was warned about everything: sharp corners, loud children, strangers, germs, and disappointment. Especially disappointment. His father, a soldier, was more absent than present. When he was home, the air grew tight. He drank. He spoke little. When war called again, Miriam didn't beg him to stay. She had Stephen. That was enough. The house they live in sat at the edge of a village, pressed up against a patch of land no one wanted. Behind it, half swallowed by weeds and thyme, was an old stone well. People said it predated the village. People said many things. Marian told Stephen never to go near it. Stephen grew into a thin, pale boy with sharp moods and fragile lungs. When other children teased him, his chest burned and his hands shook. When things didn't go his way, something hot and ugly rose up in him, fast and unstoppable. The day Elizabeth died, the sky was painfully blue. They were playing near the well: Elizabeth, Stephen, and 2 other children. Elizabeth had a doll, porcelain-faced and perfect. Stephen wanted it. Elizabeth laughed and turned away. Something snapped. He shoved her harder than he meant to, or maybe exactly as hard. Elizabeth fell backward. Her head struck the curb with a sound Stephen would hear in his dreams for years. A dull, final crack. The other children screamed and ran. Stephen stood frozen. Elizabeth didn't move. He waited for her to cry, to breathe, to accuse him. She didn't. Stephen was 10 years old and already understood one thing very clearly. If his mother found out, the world will end. So he did the only thing that made sense. He dragged her. Her body was heavier than it should have been, her limbs bending in ways that made his stomach churn. He reached the well and peered inside. It wasn't deep. He could see the bottom. Stones, darkness, waiting. He pushed. The sound echoed, wet, hollow, sickening. Stephen ran home and told his mother he felt tired. She touched his forehead, kissed his hair, and told him to go rest. That night, Stephen didn't sleep. The next morning, he went back to the well. Elizabeth was gone. Not hidden, not shifted. Gone. Days passed. Posters went up. Search parties combed the village. People whispered about kidnappers and curses. Stephen said nothing. He watched. He learned. The well, it seems, corrected mistakes. Time blurred. Stephen grew. His body strengthened, but his temper never softened. People were cruel. People were unfair. And when they were, Stephen took them to the well. A bully who cornered him behind the school. A shopkeeper who humiliated him. The man who laughed when Stephen begged him to stop. Each time, the same ritual. The shove, the thump, the silence. And each time, the next day, the well was empty. Stephen told himself it was magic, that God who had given him life was still protecting him. Miriam, his mother, grew older, more fragile, more watchful. She hovered too close, asking too many questions. Smothered his hair like he was still a child. Sometimes Stephen caught her standing in the window at night, staring towards the well. The arguments became violent. Her fear fed his rage. One night she told him she was afraid of what he was becoming. That was enough. He pushed her. This time there was no panic, no hesitation. He dragged her to the well she had warned him about all his life and threw her in. The sound was final. Stephen slept peacefully. In the morning, he went to look. Miriam was still there. Her body lay twisted at the bottom, staring up at him. For the first time in his life, Stephen felt real fear. Authorities came. Someone had finally followed the trail. Missing people, last sightings, the well. They pulled Miriam's body out. Then another and another. The well wasn't magic. It was connected. An underground passage ran from its base to an old storage tunnel that emptied miles away beyond the village. Miriam had discovered it years ago after Elizabeth. Every night while Stephen slept, she went down with a lantern and a rope and removed what her son had left behind. She cleaned his sins the way she cleaned his scraped knees, protecting him the only way she knew how. When she grew weak, the magic stopped. Stephen understood then. God had not been protecting him. His mother had. And now, with the well full and no one left to clean it, Stephen finally faced what he was without her. The well didn't take care of his mistakes. She did. And that was, ladies and gentlemen, the well that kept secrets. Thank you.